Hello, I am IPSITA GHOSH. I am Assistant Professor in ECE Department at Swami Vivekananda Institute of Science and Technology. Today I am going to discuss on the topic of Introduction to Signals and System. So, in this modern age of microelectronics, signals and system play very vital roles. And it is an extraordinary subject with diverse applications in areas of science and technology such as circuit design, engineering, biomedical engineering, energy generation and distribution, speech processing, etc. Therefore, it is essential that every practicing engineer and designer must have a thorough knowledge of this subject, and understanding of signals and system is also must for study of other part of engineering such as signal processing and control system, etc. So for this introduction to signals and system, these are the contents. What is signal? What are the examples of signal? What are the types of signal? What is system? What are the examples of system? And what are the applications of signals and system? So first I am going to discuss on what is signal. Some signals in our daily life are music, speech, picture and video signal which conveys some information to us. So basically a signal is a function that conveys some information about a phenomenon to one point to other point, and it may be a function of some independent variables. That means a signal is a dependent variable which is depends on some independent variable. The independent variables are like time, temperature, position, pressure, distance, etc. So a signal conveys some information and it may be a function of some independent variable. So collectively we can say that a function of one or more independent variables which contain some information is called a signal. Here are the examples of signal. As I have previously said that some signals in our daily life like music, speech, picture, video signals. So these are the examples of signal. And in the electrical sense, the signal can be voltage or current signal. The voltage and current is a function of time, and time is an independent variable, and voltage and currents is depends on the time and they are dependent variable. In daily life we come across several electrical signals like such as radio signal, TV signal, computer signal, etc. All of them are naturally generated and also synthetically generated. So that means many signals that we come across are naturally generated signal, and few signals are also generated synthetically. The signal can be categorized as two types, that is one dimensional signal and multi-dimensional signal. That means the signal depends on a single variable or two or more variables. So in case of one dimensional signal, the signal depends on a single variable. Therefore, when a function depends on a single variable, the signal is said to be one dimensional. And the example of one dimensional signal is speech signal, whose amplitude varies with time, and time is the single variable and also independent variable. That means the one dimensional signal is speech signal whose amplitude varies with respect to one independent variable, and that is time. Next one is multi-dimensional signal. When the function depends on two or more variables, then the signal is said to be multi-dimensional signal. And the example of multi-dimensional signal is an image signal, because it is a two-dimensional signal with one horizontal coordinate and one vertical coordinates. But this is the two types of signal. Here also another kind of signal or another classification of signal which is based upon their nature and characteristics in the time domain. And in that case, signal may be broadly classified as continuous time signal and discrete time signal. In case of continuous time signal, the signal is completely depends on the time, and at every instant of time we are getting some values in the amplitude scale. And another one is discrete time signal. And discrete time signal is defined only at certain time instant. That means at certain time instant we are getting certain kind of amplitude, but in case of all time instant we are getting the values in case of continuous time signal. So these are the another types of signals, like continuous time signal and discrete time signal. There are several classification of signals and system which I will discuss on the next lecture series. So in the next I am going to discuss what is system. A system may be defined as a set of elements or functional blocks which are basically connected together and produces an output in response to an input signal, and that response is depends upon the characteristics of the system. Basically the response or the output of the system depends upon the transfer function of the system, and that transfer function is depends on the characteristics of the system. According to the system we are getting the output. We give one input signal to the system and we get some output according to the characteristics of the system. Suppose we are taking an amplifier. That means the signal which is inputted to the amplifier, then it amplify the signal and get some output which is basically amplified version of the input signal. So a system process input signals to produce output signals, and it takes a signal as an input and transform it into another signal. In this figure the input signal is denoted by xt and output signal is denoted by yt. So yt is the amplified, or in case of amplifier it is amplified output of xt. Now these are the examples of system. Various types of filters, amplifiers, communication channels are examples of electrical system. The big systems like TV set is the interconnection of small system like IF amplifier, video amplifier, sound amplifier, etc. So in case of audio amplifier, the input signal is an audio signal, and output signal is also an audio signal, but it is the amplified version of the input signal. So another examples of the systems are microprocessor, shift register, semiconductor memories, and etc. In the next case I am going to discuss what is the applications of signals and system. There are basically three regions: control regions, communication regions, and signal processing regions. In case of control application, through the concept of signals and system, we control the velocity and the position of an object. And that concept is used in the industrial site and automation control region. Here one example is given. The position of a valve or a shaft of a motor is controlled by the concept of signals and system. That is the control application. And next one is communication application. In case of communication, very much important thing is that the information is collected through some device or through some media, and the transmission of information over a channel is conducted through the process of signals and system. So the transmission of information over a channel, it is basically is done by the concept of signals and system, and that channel may be free space, coaxial cable, fiber optics cable. That means the information is carried out through the channel which is free space, coaxial cable, and fiber optic cable. Next one is signal processing application, and it can be used to modify the signals in a way to make them more useful. Here some examples are given: speech signal, audio processing signal, speech processing, audio processing, multimedia processing, biological signal analysis. So in case of audio processing, we are giving some audio signal to the system and we are getting some better result on that audio signal as the output. So in case of speech and audio processing, through this audio processing or speech processing, we are getting more better result which I have inputted to this system. And in case of multimedia processing, same thing is happen. and in case of biological signal analysis, same thing is happen. So I am discussing about the applications of the signals and system and giving the basic idea of what is signal, what are the classifications of signal, and what are the classification of system also. Thank you.